Kids, it's been a while since I've done a video and I've got lots to talk about, so let's get caught up and find out what's going on. New topic, biofamilies. Haven't talked about this before. I've talked a lot about being adopted, but I've never talked about what happens when you actually find your biofamily because I never did until Sunday. I found them for real. Um, Amazing experience. And then, since I don't do videos very often, we're going to talk about identity and this whole politics of identity and co-opting and blackface and all this other stuff that people seem to be freaking out about. So let's get started. First off, I found my biofamily thanks to 23andMe. Um, I did my 23andMe plus medical, Ancestry plus medical, got some good medical information, but I got the best medical information when I got to the ancestry part and found one of my sisters and my bio dad. Yeah, it was amazing. Within hours of getting the information, I was literally talking with my sister, my half sister, on the phone. And later that same day, I got to talk to my dad on the phone. And yesterday, I got to see him and talk to him live on video phone. It was really cool. Um, I can tell you that when you go for a DNA test, it's kind of scary. Um, to the extent I get scared, which really I don't. But there's so much like you don't know, and you know you're going to find out, and you don't even know the questions to ask. And then in my case, suddenly when I looked at the ancestry part after I got finished figuring out where I'm from, and for those of you that have been self-betting, because I know there's millions of you out there, um, I'm 36% Polish, 30% UK, and like 17% German. And I'm white bread, lots and lots and lots of white bread. 90 something percent, 97, 98, 99% um, Northwestern European. And I do have 0.1% Native American, so I am Elizabeth Warren too. Elizabeth Warren is not the only one who's Pocahontas around here. Um, but getting back to meeting your biofamily, it's shocking for them, and it was shocking for me. It was shocking because I've heard all my life about these disastrous meetings with biofamilies, where you were just the door slammed in your face, so to speak, back in the old days, or being shouted out of somebody's driveway, or just being treated exceptionally cruelly, um, aka the bastard at the family reunion. Um, so I really, my whole life, I wasn't really excited about the concept of meeting my biofamilies. I only had two things that I wanted to know. One, particularly as an adult, was my family medical history. That was important to me because I have so many medical conditions. I have 31 chronic conditions. I am falling apart at the seams. And I want to know why. It can't just all be my bad habits and my wild lifestyle. There has to be a reason for this stuff. Because some of this stuff started before my wild lifestyle. Um, I started seeing ghosts at age 10. 9, 9. And I want to know why. So I found out. Runs in the family. Uh, it falls, come to find out, kids, if you're adopted and you go and you try this and you find your bio family, what you're gonna really, if you step back and you really, really think about it and you really listen, stop talking and listen to people and listen to the stories of the family and think about your own life, you're going to realize in the big picture, the fruit never falls far from the tree, even if the fruit is removed, even if the tree is removed from the dirt and moved, that fruit's still going to fall right next to the tree, and for better or for worse. And I found that out just by listening to my sister talk about my father, and then talking to my father and listening to his stories. How much we have in common, even though we are kind of once removed through the adoption. And the question I always had as a kid was, I wonder if my biological dad ever knew I existed. That was the one question I had. And I got it answered. He never knew I existed. I was surprised. Surprise! 52 years old, surprise. Uh, I don't know if the surprise aged well or not. Maybe there was too much dust when I came jumping out of the box or the cake or whatever. Um, but so far so good. It's been a positive experience. One thing I noticed is that I feel comfortable talking to him. The paternal um, the paternal aspect of my adopted family, I never felt comfortable with. I always felt like I was on pins and needles. And I feel just comfortable talking to my dad, even though I don't know my dad. I'm just getting to know my dad. Um, Maybe that's part of the reason, or maybe it's because it's really my dad and I have to belong. There's no not having to belong. When you're an adopted child, you don't have to belong. And you know that in your own mind. You'll go along, you'll get along, you'll go along to get along, but you don't necessarily have to belong. You can kind of divorce yourself from the reality of the situation and say, nope, these aren't my people, not my circus, not my elephants, not my monkeys. Um, and then just act like you have to survive, frankly. You can't do that with your bio family. It's all out there raw. There's nowhere to run at all. And you might be mad at them or be sad with them or um, have fights or whatever. Because all families have drama and intrigue. I mean, drama and intrigue is what makes America great. Drama and intrigue. Um, but you can't escape your bio family like you can your adopted family. Um, you can't just walk away. I mean, I had a psychic once tell me back in Miami that, oh, you're adopted, not knowing me, and just put his hands on my hands and said, you're adopted. You're lucky. You get to choose who you love. And it was hard to hear that at first. It was really hard, but it was true. I always did choose who I loved. I didn't attach myself well to most people. Um, and I've made my own family out of non-family members. Um, I've chosen who I consider to be my family out of non-family members, out of necessity and out of desire. I could have gone it completely alone. Um, because at many junctures in my life, I felt that way. But I wanted to build a family, and having a family is an important thing. Now, this whole new bio family experience is a whole new level of something I always wanted to understand it or try to understand it, but I never could understand it. I always knew that there was something missing. And it was something missing until I video chatted with my sister and my father. And like a minute into the video chat with my father, I realized there's like no escaping this. There's no escaping your biological family. You can walk away from them, and sometimes that's the healthiest thing to do. Sometimes that's a very healthy thing to do because family can be toxic. absolutely deadly toxic. So sometimes it's necessary for your own health and safety to walk away from your family. But it's hard to do that with your bio family as opposed to like your adopted family or something like that. Because on some level, you're safe when you're in that little adoptive box because you're always told, if you're told you're adopted, you're always told you're special. That's usually what people say. And chosen and wanted and loved. And in many cases, that's very true. And in some cases, you're just another accessory. You're a purse, you're a pair of shoes, your earrings, you're a necklace. You're just a kid, you're an accessory. And you can tell the difference pretty quick. And you can tell when you're wanted and when you're being an inconvenience. And when the rubber hits the road and folks start dying and there's money involved, trust me, no matter how much they said they love you and you're part of the family, it comes out, you're not blood. I found out that the hard way too. So no one can say that with my dad. We are blood. He's 47.5% of me. DNA. We're talking DNA. No one can tell me I'm not part of my dad. They might not like it. My dad might not even like it. But here I am. And it's cool because no one can take it away from me, even if I wanted them to. And hopefully I'll never feel like I want them to. I don't think I will. It's been way too long and I'm too old, frankly. By the time we finish getting caught up, it'll be the end of both of our lives. So our memories are going to consist of sharing memories, which is kind of neat in a way, because it was like he sent a satellite out to orbit another planet for 50 years. And now it's come back to tell him all about the places and things and stuff that he didn't get to see that I got to see. And vice versa. He can tell me all about what was going on home planet while I was out busy looking at other universes. It's unique. It's fun. And if you're doubting about doing it, give it a shot. Now, I'm not having the same success on the maternal side. And frankly, my maternal and paternal experience in the adopted realm was not always that pleasant. It was an absolute nightmare on the mommy side. I've got mommy issues bad. Scars, deep scars that go into my bone marrow. And I got some pretty good scars from daddy too, because he really wasn't into being a daddy. He ended up being a pretty good grandfather with his second wife, but he certainly wasn't particularly interested in kids when I was a kid. So to watch him wake up and suddenly experience children with his grandchildren was fun. It was amazing. I'm hoping to see some of that. I'm seeing that fun, that twinkle in my dad's eye because I am his only son that we know of. There could be more. We don't know. But right now, he had two daughters after me that we know of. And I'm his only son. So I'm kind of a novelty. I'm a new thing. I'm the shiny new motorbike on the lot. And that's a kind of cool feeling too, because I haven't felt like a shiny new penny in a very long time. I haven't been somebody's new penny in a long time, long time. Like, I think maybe my kittens. I was the new human, like 7 or 8 years ago. That was the last time I was somebody's anything's shiny new penny. So that's a great feeling all on its own. That's a rush that just should be savored just for the moment, because it will only last a moment. It'll be fleeting. Soon I'll become normalized and then I can become a pain in the ass. Um, I hope not, but I can be a pain in the ass. Um, so there's that. Now let's go into this like identity politics bullshit thing. People are being entirely too dramatic about, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Now, trust me, my opinion is not gospel. But it seems to me that there are artistic expressions where people put on makeup, like drag, where people pretend to be something else that they're not. And drag queens exist, but I don't see a lot of women getting offended by drag queens because they can't understand the suffering of women. But that happens with blackface. I don't see a lot of people doing brownface. Why not? It's the same thing as drag. Or oriental face. You can do that with makeup. You can alter your appearance with makeup to look like anything you want to be, even inhuman. You can alter yourself with makeup. It's just makeup. Now, what's in your heart is entirely different than what's on your face. That's just goop. And people trying to say, well, if you even thought of this, then you're a horrible person, just is a step too far for me because I've looked like everything at one point and artistically tried to make a point about discrimination and about closed-mindedness by changing my appearance. So I have a hard time understanding this. It didn't mean I was discriminating. It didn't mean I was a racist. It meant I was trying to make a point. I was trying to slap the white out of some of these white folks because I'm entirely white. I am a loaf of Wonder Bread with 2 dots of mustard. Seriously, that's just how white I am. And I just confirmed that with my DNA. And even I realize that sometimes we need to slap the white out of some of these white folks because it's just hateful. And it's unnecessary. And then we have this other whole thing of co-opting others' identities, like if you're white and you're trying to act too black or dress too black or whatever, that's somehow offensive. I don't get it. That should be a form of flattery, not an offense. I don't see people doing that to be cruel. I'm sure people might have at one point, or one person might have, but in general, I don't see like little white kids with their pants hanging down to below their butts, listening to rap music in country redneck Florida. I don't think that's making fun of black people. I think that's just liking their culture and wanting to be part of it. Even though there's hardly any black folks in my county, there are some, but there's hardly any. These white kids like that music and they like that kind of dress. And I don't think they're being cruel. I think they're just trying to rebel and trying to escape this little white hell that they live in, which frankly, it's a boring white hell. It's great for old folks like me who are on their way out, not so much for the kids growing up. There's really nothing to do here besides watch the weeds grow and watch your arteries harden. There ain't much to do out here in Florida. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I mean, I would assume like black music people would love the fact that a bunch of white folks wanted to listen to rap and pay for their albums and buy their clothing lines and stuff like that because they can make money. So if somebody's making money, what's wrong with that? And if nobody's getting hurt, what's wrong with that? I think we need to start looking at it in a bigger picture of what is in the individual's heart. And yes, there is lots of hate. Hate out there, hate for everything. By everyone. Black people hate, Latin people hate, Asian people hate, Native American people hate. Everyone hates. There's a lot of hate out there. But there's also a lot of love and admiration and respect. And we need to start looking at it in a more macro level, or conversely, a more micro level, than just making these blanket statements to score a political point. Political points aren't worth gathering if they're really absolutely useless when you hold them, if they just vanish. Have you gained anything? Just my thoughts. Hope you have a nice day, and it was great seeing y'all.